a sudden breath which breaks the stillness of the night. The unexpected wind leans on the branches of the ancient oak. The tree grows in such nearness to the monastery wall that sometimes it will reach its fingers out to touch the stone, and sometimes even strike a thrumming chord against the pane, which in the hours of day lets through the blessed light. But now the echoes fade along night-still, night-sleeping passageways. The silence, which till now has been disturbed by nothing save the light and tiny sound the quill makes on the vellum neath his hand. Before him, on the desk, the little tallow candle casts his shadow, monstrous and unreal, against the wall. He lifts his pen and gazes at the star-strung silhouette outside his window. I, he thinks, who am I? Smiling as in his mind he forms a prayer of gratitude. He is content. Things have gone well. Ego sum, he answers himself. I am here in the silence, beneath the massy thickness of the abbey's vaults, surrounded by the shelves of precious manuscripts. As guardian of the key, he spent his days, apart from those obligatory monastery hours of labour, of service, and of prayer and breaking bread, here amidst the ranks of parchments and of scrolls. Such became his life, nor could he dream in this world or the next of aught could bring him greater happiness. Beati pauperes spiritu. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Besides, it is in Jesus' name. He picks up his quill, content to write again. And again his eye turns back upon the eye his hand has traced, shaped like the gnarled bough of the tree which waves against the night-blue, night-dark sky. The world of transient life, of movement and of change, he has forever fixed in silent stillness on the page. But who, he wonders, will know what potent influence has guided his deft hand?
What you have just heard are short extracts of Henry Lincoln reading from his unpublished manuscript, Quest for the Key. The story is set in a medieval Benedictine monastery in southern France. The Benedictine had some of the finest libraries in all of Europe, and their scriptoriums were treasure troves of ancient knowledge, much of which was not smiled upon by the Church of Rome. Henry's manuscript weaves a tale of intrigue following the thread of Davidic bloodline families and certain secret scrolls and relics arriving on the southern shores of Gaul. An ancient heresy came into the archives of the Benedictines and into the hands of Burgundian royal families, keys to a heresy that ultimately helped to form the founding visions of the Knights Templar. This short film is a small tribute to a large body of work produced by one man, Henry Lincoln. Like the abbot and monks in his medieval tale, Henry spent his life poring over old manuscripts, Egyptian, Hermetic, biblical apocrypha, and then writing, producing films, documentaries, and books that explored new territory based on ancient knowledge. How many memories of another time became the characters in his plots? And who was moving the pen on those pages? Henry was a dreamer, a visionary, a poet, an actor who performed on Shakespearean stages, and into his 90s he could still quote entire segments of Shakespeare. His vivid imagination also conjured the strange Doctor Who. But the big controversy he generated in bringing the mystery of Rennes-le-Château to the attention of the world continues today. In Henry's own words, it started as a treasure hunt 30 years ago, centered on a tiny hilltop village in the French Pyrenees, Rennes-le-Château. At the end of the 19th century, a penurious priest, Bérenger Saunière, suddenly acquired riches. But where did the money come from? Henry soon realized that the search for treasure was a red herring, and hiding beneath the surface of Templar and Visigothic gold was a greater treasure of knowledge and mystery in the cromlech, the stone circle of Rennes-les-Bains, and strange patterns in the landscape. Henry went down the rabbit hole into a labyrinth of myths, legends, and secrets shared only in secret societies. One of these secrets concerned a strange zodiac poem, Le Serpent Rouge, the Red Serpent, concerning certain sites in the region and a certain woman in red, Mary Magdalene, the apostle to the apostles. His co-authored book, Holy Blood, Holy Grail, opened the door for many authors, including Dan Brown with his Da Vinci Code. The story revealed Mary Magdalene as the wife of Jesus and carrier of a Davidic bloodline that infused ancient France and beyond. A heresy in the eye of the church, but an earth-shattering revelation to many. The remote hilltop village in the shadow of the Pyrenees, Rennes-le-Château, has a deeply layered past going back to prehistoric times. The valleys below were the favored paths of dragons, known as dinosaurs. Their bones and eggs still remain. The hill is like a wheel commanding a 360-degree view, with the Pyrenean peaks to the west and fertile river valleys below in every direction. It commands a wide view of the wheel of the heavens, ideal for calculating the cycles of time. The ancients must have seen the same, as the old name for the site was rede, a Celtic word meaning the wheel of a chariot or cart. Sometime in the 10th century, a village church dedicated to Mary Magdalene was erected, most likely on earlier foundations, and utilizing an enigmatic carved pillar from the 5th century Visigoths. During the next 2 centuries, the Counts of Rede, members of the Knights Templar, were present at Rennes-le-Château, and more heresy flourished in this medieval heartland of Cathars, troubadours, and songs of the Grail. By the late 1800s, the notorious parish priest Bérenger Saunière had arrived and began his renovations of the site, allegedly finding hidden parchments in the chapel. In Henry's words, "What were the secret documents the priest supposedly found in a church pillar? Why did he go to Paris and return with a copy of the famous Poussin painting, Shepherds of Arcadia? And what was Poussin's secret that kings would love to know?" Later, Henry would comment again on the controversy around the mysterious parchments, said to be penned in more recent years by members of the notorious Priory of Sion. Henry said, "Whatever the source and dating, it doesn't really matter, as the material has relevance and reveals clues to the mysteries of the region." Some of the clues in the parchments revealed a landscape pentagram marked by 5 ancient sites around Rennes-le-Château and Rennes-le-Ban, forming a great wheel. The parchments included legends of buried treasure. Or was the true treasure hidden knowledge, secrets maintained for more than 2,000 years? The sites include the medieval Templar fortification at Blanchefort, the white stone castle guarding the entrance to the Valley of the Salles. This salty river is fed by springs containing precious salt, iron-rich blood springs, and white calcium springs, bringing together salt, red and white waters for an elemental alchemy. Another of the 5 sites, the Templar fortification of Bézieux, appears to grow out of the steep limestone cliffs which guarded the old road to Hispania, following the zero Paris meridian south near the iconic magnetic Mount Bougarache. And another point, the majestic Tor Magdala, the Tower of Magdalene, crowning the hilltop of Rennes-le-Château, the strange priest's library in his round tower. Its narrow window directs our gaze to a ritual cave across the valley and beyond to the magnificent Pyrenean peaks. The Tower of Magdalene is a landmark from afar, reflecting the setting sun, symbolizing death, rebirth, and transcendence. As it said in the parchment Serpent Rouge, formerly, some named her Isis, Queen of all sources, benevolent. Come unto me, all ye who suffer and are heavy laden, and I shall give ye rest. To others she is Magdalene, of the celebrated vase filled with healing balm. The initiated know her true name, Notre Dame of the Cross. The Egyptian goddess Isis and Mary Magdalene, the 2 queens mentioned in Le Serpent Rouge, reflected in the benevolent waters of Bain de Rennes, the Queen's Baths. In the eastern part of the landscape of Rennes-le-Ban, known in the past as Val Crux, the Valley of the Cross, is the Zero Meridian. Henry claimed this meridian was based upon the Cromlech-Intersect division line. In other words, the Paris meridian, measured in the 17th century, coincides with a more ancient alignment of megalithic sites, stone temples, established thousands of years earlier. Ancient temple builders were already aware of this north-south alignment, a dragon path along which the electromagnetic energy of the stars travels between the Earth's poles from north to the south. 5 locations in the landscape of the 2 Rennes form a perfect geometric shape, the pentagram. But why did the parchments hint at a pentagram? The proportions and angles in the pentagram are comprised of golden mean ratios, the same proportions found in music and the beauty and perfection of all nature's forms. Venus is the only planet in our solar system to create a perfect geometrical pattern in its orbit, a 5-pointed star formed by its 13 orbits every 8 Earth years. The same numbers, 5, 8, 13, are found in the Fibonacci series, the Pythagorean triangle, and in the music of the cosmos. And here in the land of the 2 Rennes, we find this pentagram of perfection. Henry used to say that this pentagram was Venus as the love of Mary Magdalene reflected on this land. One of the Venus cycles that has long been monitored by the ancients is the Venus transit, when Venus passes directly in front of the sun. Venus transits were recorded by the Mayans and noted on Babylonian cuneiform tablets nearly 3,000 years ago. This perfect alignment between the sun, Venus, and Earth occurs in pairs every 130 years or so, with the most recent transit occurring in 2012 and the previous in 1882. It is no coincidence that the 1882 Venus transit is linked with two major events in the two Rennes. The priest Saunier was about to arrive in Rennes-le-Château and begin restoring the parish church dedicated to Mary Magdalene. And in Rennes-les-Bains, the priest Henri Boudet was documenting the Cromlech, the great stone circle of Vaucreux, in his book, La vraie langue celtique, the true Celtic language. There is perfection in the timing. Significant events are marked like cogs in the great wheels of time, events that change the state of things to come. Often the relevance of these key events only becomes known at the next turning point, which was certainly true in the events of Rennes-le-Château. In 2012, Henry was no longer able to walk far enough to witness the sunrise Venus transit. We agreed that I would climb up to La Pique, which forms the center of the pentagram, on June 6th, to view Venus's passage in front of the sun. As I began the ascent at pre-dawn, a nightingale's endless repertoire was decorating the stillness. Arriving at the peak with Rennes-le-Château to the left, Bézieux and Bougarache to the right, clouds obscured the rising sun and Venus. But the cosmic power of such a rare alignment would not be inhibited by such a translucent veil. The sun radiating through Venus, infusing the earth with the perfection of harmony and the music of the spheres. Venus, ancient emblem of the beauty and the sacred feminine, infusing the two Rennes. I remembered years earlier sitting with the late distinguished antiquities expert Robert Bryden at his home in Edinburgh. Bob had been the curator of Roslin Chapel for many years and had been present at Henry Lincoln's honorary induction into the Scottish Knights Templar at Roslin. It was past midnight in Bob's dimly lit salon. A few glasses of brandy were shared. Tongues are loosened in these moments, and he was describing the secret ritual practices during past Venus transits in Roslin Glen and in Europe during the Renaissance. Of course, these rituals were considered high heresy in the eyes of the Church. I prefer to call it natural magic. Bob described the local group who in 1882 descended into the glen below Roslin Chapel to a cave just above the River Esk. Did they see the White Lady, guardian of Roslin Castle, sometimes glimpsed by those with eyes to see? She is a guardian like Esclarmonde, La Dame Blanche of the Pyrenean chateaux near Rennes-le-Château. Bob said the ritual involved the participants facing east at sunrise to receive an insemination of Venus into the cave, into the womb of the earth, impregnating the light of perfection into the region. Venus as beauty, love, Maria Sophia, the feminine Shekinah of spiritual fire and of wisdom. One of the old manuscripts from Henry's library, the Seventh Book of Moses, contains Hebrew magical invocations. As I carefully turned the aged, crumbling parchments, on page 22, the number of Magdalene, it says, Venus causes one to become beloved in all respects and makes known the secrets through dreams. Secrets revealed in dreams. Henry always said that the area of the two wrens was a place for dreaming. Ancient mysteries discerned in the fleeting shadows of our dreams. And in Henry's words, the world of transient life, of movement, and of change he has forever fixed in silent stillness on the page. But who, he wonders, will know what potent influence has guided his deft hand?